Okay, today we're going to discuss section 4.7, arithmetic sequences. So let's get through some of the vocabulary first. So the first word we want to talk about is sequence. And it is a set of numbers in a specific order. All right, that's our first vocabulary word. Next one is terms. We all know terms. We've talked about this before. In this case, it's the numbers in the sequence. Arithmetic sequence. When the difference in the terms is constant. And the common difference between the terms. Okay, so if we have 9, 12, 15, and 18, these are what we would call, all of these would be called the terms. Here to here is plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. The common difference is 3, plus 3. Okay, so we're going to do an example. So we'll do example 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, and it keeps going on and on. What would be, first of all, find your common difference. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So yes, this would be an arithmetic sequence. Example 2, 10, 12, 15, 18. That would be a plus 2, but this one's a plus 3. This one's a plus 3. So this would be no. It would not be an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so that would be the first part that you'd be doing. All right. The other part of your exercise is going to be extending the sequence. Okay, extend the sequence. So we'll have find the next 3 terms. So we would have negative 66, negative 70, negative 74, negative 78. What would be the next 3 terms? Find the common difference first. So that would be minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. So the common difference is negative 4. Negative 78 minus negative 4, that's going to give you a negative 82, a negative 86, and a negative 90. Those would be the next 3 terms. Okay, there is something called the formula that we would be using for this. So the formula would be, and I will explain it all. I know that the writing of it's going to be kind of tedious. The nth term, which would be a to the n of an arithmetic sequence with the first term a subscript 1 and the common difference which is D is given by the following formula. So the nth term, I'm going to put a box around the nth term, which would be represented by an. The first term is a subscript 1, and the common difference is D. So it would be a subscript n, which is the nth term, a subscript 1, which is the first term, plus n minus 1 times D. So let's see how this plays out with an example. Okay, so we have a is going to be equal to, a1, subscript 1 is equal to 5. So a1 is going to be equal to 5. That's our first term in the sequence. The difference is equal to 5. And n is the nth term, which is going to be 25. Okay, so we want to know what is that 25th term in the sequence. So we're going to use our formula. A subscript n equals a1 plus n minus 1 times your D. Okay, so n is 25. So I'm going to say a subscript 25, because that's the term that I'm looking for, equals a1, a subscript 1 is 5, plus n, which is 25, minus 1 times your difference of 5. So this is going to be 5 plus 24 times 5. 24 times 5 is 120, plus 5, which is going to equal 125. So the 25th term in that sequence is going to be 125. It's just a shorter version of trying to just write out the whole sequence and just keep going and going and going. So if you're asked for a sequence number that's 35th in the sequence, you don't have to keep continuing out with that like we did up here. We don't have to continuously spell that out all the way across. We can use the formula with the information given to us. What is the first term? First term was 5. What is the common difference? What is it being changed by each time? Plus 5. What will be that 25th term if we continue with that difference of 5? All right. Then the last thing we're going to talk about real quickly is to write an equation. Write an equation for the sequence. And then we're going to graph it. Okay, so the first thing is to look at the sequence. -3, -6, -9, -12, and it keeps on going. All right, so let's identify what is our difference. Our common difference is -3. So let's label. Our first term, a1, is the first term. What is our first term? -3. That's the first term that we started with. What is our common difference? Our D. Our common difference is also -3. We want to write the equation for this sequence. So we're going to use AN equals, we'll rewrite the whole thing again, A subscript 1 n minus 1 times D for the difference. Okay, so we're going to rewrite it. We know that A1, our first term, is negative 3. It's right here. First term is negative 3. We don't know yet, so it's n minus 1. But we know that our common difference is negative 3. Okay, so I'm going to distribute. So negative 3 times n is negative 3n. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 minus 3. Well, we know that positive 3 minus 3 is going to make 0. So a to the subscript n is equal to negative 3n. This is our equation. That's our equation. Now what they want you to do is they want you to graph this, but you have to figure out first what those terms are. So make a table, put your n in the front, your negative 3n is our equation, would come next. Then we have to find that second part, the answer to our equation, and then your ordered pair to graph would be n, a, n. Now it wants you to find the first 5 terms and graph them. So first 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Substitute negative 3 times 1, and that's going to equal negative 3. So an is negative 3, and we know that because that's our first term. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Sorry, over here it should be 1, negative 3, 2, negative 6. Negative 3 times 3 is equal to negative 9. So that would be 3, negative 9. Negative 3 times 4 is equal to negative 12. So that's going to be 4, negative 12. And the fifth term would be negative 3 times 5 equals negative 15. And our fifth term would be 5, negative 15. And you would graph those points. If you look up here, we know that negative 3 is the first, negative 6 is the second, negative 9 is the third term, negative 12 is the fourth term. So your fifth term has to be negative 15. So that is how you would graph those points. Whoops, I'm so sorry that you didn't see that. That is how you would graph those points. Okay, so we substituted in our n into our equation that we found up above. And then we found the a to the nth, and that would be our ordered pairs.